Okay, in this video, I'm just going to do a couple examples on solving equations using Trig, primarily using the calculator. So in this particular problem, solve for a, round to the nearest 10,000th. So a is being divided by 29, so we would typically multiply 29 on both sides. 29s would cancel out, leaving me with 29 cosine 13 equals a. So if I was just going straight to the calculator, all I'm going to type in is the 29 cosine 13. So when I go to type it in, I first notice, look at my mode. It's in radians. I can double check. I know sine of 30 is supposed to equal 1/2. Here it doesn't. It confirms something's not right with my calculator. So let me go to mode, make sure it's in degree. There we go. Real clear. So now, just to double check, sine 30, there's our 1/2. So at least my calculator is ready to go. So straight into the calculator. 29 cosine 13. There's my answer. 282567 because it says round to the nearest 10,000. 2 is tenths. 5 would have been the hundredths. This would have been the thousands. 7. There's my 10,000s. So 282567. 282567. Notice in the calculator, I did not press times. I didn't have to put parentheses. 29 cosine 13 is sufficient. Okie dokie, let's look at another problem. Solve for angle E, round to the nearest degree. So, in this particular case, there's our unknown, angle E. Angle E is being tangented, if you will. So we have to perform the appropriate inverse operation, which is inverse tan. The tans cancel out, leaving me with angle E is equal to inverse tan 31 over 23. So that's what I'm typing into the calculator. Let me clear this out. Inverse tan, second tan, 31 divided by 23, or 31 over 23, doesn't make a difference. Calculator's waiting for a ratio of two sides. Enter 53 point some stuff, but it says round to the nearest degree. The nearest degree is 53 degrees. So over here, there's my 53 degrees. I wanted to illustrate one specific type of problem. It's not that the problem is more difficult, it's typing it into the calculator. That might give you some issues. So, solve for angle A, round to the nearest degree again. Cosine angle A, radical 7 over 5, or the square root of 7 over 5. And again, this is saying that my adjacent side is radical 7 and my hypotenuse is 5. And I'm trying to find angle A. So again, I still will perform the appropriate inverse operation. So inverse cosine on both sides. Cosines cancel out, leaving me with the measure of angle A is inverse cosine radical 7 over 5. So let's see about typing this into the calculator. So second cosine, radical 7, so the square root of 7 over 5. Now, I'm purposely showing you something that this is not correct. So it's letting you know domain error. What domain error means is domain is what you put into a problem. So it's saying what you typed into this calculator, there's something going on with it. All right, so we'll quit. Clear. All right, here's what the problem is. Notice here, soon as I press the square root of 7, let me start all over again. All right, second cosine, square root. Look what it shows. Not just a square root, but a parentheses. So everything I type afterwards will be part of the square root. Because we only want the 7 to be part of the square root, I have to close the parentheses. Now be careful. This first parentheses is not part of this. This first parentheses is saying, hey, I'm about to type in a ratio of two numbers. So now it says radical 7 on top divided by 5. No need to close the parentheses because I have an open, I have a close. That's all I'm concerned about. This open, I don't need to put it to close because it assumes if you don't have it, it's closed. Now when I type enter, it does give me an answer, about 58 degrees. There's my 58 degrees. Let me also show one other way to type it into the calculator. If you have a graphing calculator, chances are this might be what you might see. Well, I'm going to change my mode to math print. And let's see what happens. All right. And we're going to type the exact same problem in. Inverse cosine. There we go. And we're still going to do the square root of 7. Second square root. Oops, clear, wrong thing. Second square root. Now it's showing you more traditional. Square root 7. Now here's where you got to be careful. I can't just put over. Oh, let's do this. I'm going to go here, delete. That's my delete button, delete. And let's say I'm like, oh, I'm going to put it this way. I still got to be careful because notice everything is still under this radical. So I got to be careful. So watch what I'm going to do. Second square root. There's my 7. Now look where my cursor is. Move my cursor over. Now, whether I do divided by 5 or over 5. So I'm going to do the over. There you can see just the radical 7 is in top. There's my 58. I'll do it differently. Second cosine. There we go. Radical 7. Now I'm going to do divided by. There's my 7. I still got to move it out. Divided by 5. So now it shows just the radical 7 is on top. Enter. There's my 58. So this will help you when it's time to actually type in a ratio of two numbers when one of them is a radical. Okie doke.